Good day to you. Yeah, well, I'm out and about on the Triumph Speed 400. Couple of questions, well, to be answered. One is, what's it like to commute? Yeah, because that's where I'm on my way to work. I've been riding it about all weekend, and I've just been and filled it up. So now I'm on my way to work. Yeah, marvellous, eh? I've been out this morning on a site visit, and now I've got to get to work for the afternoon. Yeah, marvellous. But it does give me an excuse to get down the back lanes and treat this as a commuter. But also, what I wanted to find out is, when I ride ByBreTM, for example, the Classic 500 or any of the Classic 350s, it's quite therapeutic. You know, you don't feel as though you've got to drive it fast or anything like that. I've got a tractor coming straight at me. That's marvellous. But the question is, what's this like? Because people noticed when I was on the Scrambler that I seemed to be, it appeared like I was going like Billy-O everywhere, and I wasn't really particularly. And so now I'm going to make a big effort to just try and go nice and steady. Yeah, down these back lanes, which you have to go steady anyway, because of flooding, because of gravel, because of all sorts of stuff. So that's one question. Yeah, can you ride it slow? Is it therapeutic in the same sense that a lot of Royal Enfields are? I mean, let's face it, riding motorcycles is therapeutic, full stop. But this just seems to be nice down these back lanes, and it is nice to have that extra bit of acceleration and speed to get out onto the busier roads. Is it a mile muncher on the dual carriageway? No, I don't think it is. Can you do, I don't know, 20 miles? Yes, you can. Well, you know, it's not a big ask of it. Would you want to do 150 miles on the motorways? No, I don't think so. Will it do it? Yes, of course it will. But there are better bikes. And let's face it, a lot of other bikes in this sort of category, you wouldn't want to do that, would you? No. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. The 40 brake horsepower, it should be enough for most things. I mean, it's only sort of 7 less than an Interceptor or a BSA. Does it feel very different from those bikes? Yeah, it does, massively. 250 cc's it's giving away to them. 40 miles an hour. But this feels so much lighter. But moving it about in the garage at home, you know, getting out the drive, and you haven't seen my drive, but it slopes down to the garage, and it's gravel, and there's a raised manhole in the middle of it all. I know, not ideal for manoeuvring bikes in front of the garage. But this is an absolute doddle. And like I say, made for roads like these, I think. It'd be nice to get up to 60 though, because 60 is possibly its real sweet spot. You know, like with ByBreTM, the sweet spot's about 50, 55. He'll go on a lot more than that. But I believe it's similar with the 350s. And I do need to get to ride some Royal Enfields shortly. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, it's a bit of a rat run, this road. Just to refresh my memory of it, But yeah, I mean, this is rather pleasant, I've got to say, just tootling like this on this bike that is capable of over 90 miles an hour. Yeah, and the speedos, from what I've done with speed checks, you know, when they have those lights that flash on and tell you how fast you're going, they seem pretty accurate. The speedos are not far out. Berties can be quite wildly out. But there you go. Let's have a look. Nothing coming. We're in a 20. Let's get down here. So, fourth gear, just over 20 miles an hour ish, something like that. No bother at all. But it is boring, isn't it? The weather conditions since I've had this have been absolutely atrocious. Yeah, bucketing it down, so I've been very wet at times. But one query I got from someone was about the ride-by-wire, and they're very dubious about it, and for good reason. I mean, my experience with my T120 was the ride-by-wire was dreadful. On these little bikes it seems an awful lot better, I've got to say, and of course on my T100 it's no problem at all. Yeah, so that's what I'd say about that. But if it becomes a problem, there we go, 40 now. So just no trouble at all. Do I feel a difference on the size? Compared to the X? No, I just went looking for a 7th gear then. I know. That is the problem, isn't it? If you like a low revving bike and you're used to a low revving bike, as soon as you start to feel that buzz from the engine, you're gonna think you ought to change up just to reduce it a bit. But you soon get used to it and you soon realise, I mean, you know, 6,000-7,000 revs. I guess it's because it's a single. If it was a triple, you'd have no hesitation at all. If it was a two-stroke, oh, you'd be flying, wouldn't you? But I don't think that distracts from it, its simplicity and its beauty. Yeah. Oh, we're in a 40. And this is reality, isn't it? You know, we've got speed limits everywhere, flooding, loose gravel. You can't ride like a lunatic, and I think that's why these 400, anything from 350 to 500, is an expanding market at the moment. There you go. And you can see it just flies. 60. This is where it's happy. This is comfortable. It could do this all day, no trouble, I'm sure. Above that, like I say, on the motorways at 70 and above, yeah, it's buzzy, but that's what you'd expect, isn't it? But it does seem to go so well over the bumps. The suspension just soaks it up. It's a very, very comfortable bike, and I think we're into a 40 now. So we'll get down a little bit. Yeah. So open country, it's just lovely to ride. It's a good looking bike as well, and I think if you're on a good looking bike, you feel good about it, and that changes your perception, doesn't it, as well? Feeling good about the bike you're riding. I reckon it's going to rain. I do have a question over what it'll be like to up. I haven't had Mrs. Tame on it yet. I hope to do that later in the week. Yeah. And I will get her to actually sit on it as though she was riding it, because I should have done that with the X so people could have an idea. From a height point, how does she feel? Mrs. Tame is quite tall for a lady. Yeah, she, I don't know, about 5'7", 5'8", something like that. So the speed should be no bother for her at all. I would like to hear what one of these is like with a pipe on, because it should sound quite poppy. You should be able to, in theory, make it sound pretty similar to the Royal Enfield 350s. I would have hoped, though I'm not sure about the stroke and everything, the difference between them. I haven't really looked at it, to be honest, because ultimately it's not really an issue. And for me, a bike like this would be a little bit of an adventurer, but primarily a commuter, a doodle abouter. And at the prices they are, if you think you could buy a Speed 400X and sorry, you could buy, I'll start again, blah, 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 blah. You could buy a Speed 400 and a 400X Scrambler for the same price as a T100. Yeah. That's not bad, is it? 30, did you see that? That was about spot on the speedo, and that speed sign. Yeah. Well, very impressed, because I have ridden some bikes, and I'll not name them, where the speedo's out like by 5 miles an hour. But there you go. Anyway, I'll bring you back when we get into town. Right, what I've noticed is it's dead nippy at the low speed, you know what I mean? If you want to suddenly accelerate and you're getting through traffic and stuff. Alright, old git, here, marvellous. Oh, and of course, look at that, we've got the giraffe here. Let's have a look. Morning, giraffe, what do you reckon? Oh, yeah, you would prefer the Scrambler. That's right. Yeah, with your long legs, it'd be ideal for you. Right, I'll see you later. Ta-ta. Oh, he was pleased as punch that I stopped on the speed so he could have a look. Now he wants to see the BSA as well. That's marvellous, isn't it? So yeah, thumbs up from the giraffe. I wonder if we'll get a thumbs up from Mrs. Tame as well. So I'm going to leave it there. It's the speed. It's just shy of 40 brake horsepower. It's 37.5 Newton meters of torque. It's got a seat height of 790, something like that. So a bit short for the giraffe, but perfect for Dave, I reckon. It's a bit quiet on the exhaust. Yeah, and it's fun to ride. Clutch light as a feather, brakes just perfect. But there you go. Yeah, I will catch you in another video. Yeah, ta-ta.